Yo, fellas, if y'all want to see me wife a girl that looks like this, or even this, tap in with my Instagram, man. My goal is 10K followers. If y'all active, I will follow back. Come on, y'all. I know we could do it, but hey, here go the vid. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. Now, my name is Gordon Locke, but most people call me, hold on, my brother, don't say another word. You mean to tell me that the last contestant is somebody named Gordon? Hey man, chill, bruh. At least he ain't a cook or nothing like Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, but his name is Gordon Locke. You need to unlock them dreads on your head and get some waves or something, cause it ain't working, my boy. He ain't lying though. Man, them things look like some dirty cinnamon sticks. Nah. It look like bro shampoo his hair with glue. If he shake his head, the weatherman gonna say it's snowing outside. Hey, if they spill something at the crib, you could just use his head to mop it up. Alright, bro. Chill. Go ahead and finish your story, my guy. I'm a 6'7" forward who started out at the University of Texas. But this story, it isn't like the other ones you've seen. See, my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't getting a lot of playing time. Now don't get me wrong, it wasn't because I was bad. I just think my coach had something against me. I mean, every time we would go into practice, I'd be cooking some of the starters. But somehow, I could just never get over that hump. But if you ask me, I believe I was one of the most skillful players on the team. And no, I'm not just saying that to make my story look better. I honestly feel like I was getting cheated. At one point, it felt like nothing I did in practice mattered. It would be some days I'd be in there dropping 40 points, but you know how it goes. A coach is gonna always have favoritism toward their favorite players. And sometimes when you at the bottom of the hill, it's hard to overcome it. The guys that was starting on this team, when I had got there, they were already there for 2 years. So it was already gonna be hard for me to get a starting spot. And we was good too. It's not like the team was trash. So I could see why the starting lineup didn't really change, but I figured I could have helped us be even more dominant. But all in all, I ended up beating the odds. And now I got an opportunity to potentially become a main character on BB3's channel. And I believe my story is just different. I didn't even stay at Texas my whole college career. I ended up transferring because of some situations, but I can't tell y'all that. Before we get to all that, I gotta take it back to where it all started, and that would be my freshman and sophomore year. Now, my freshman year in college, I actually averaged 2.5 points per game. I know you would be expecting more from a D1 player who's looking to be a main character on this channel, but hey man, everybody love a good underdog story, right? Every time it was time for a game, I always felt like one of them older people who sit and watch birds at the park, because I stayed on the bench. I could not get off that mug for nothing. Now my freshman year, I probably averaged like 10 minutes a game, but my sophomore year, that's when it really took a hit. I was really undecided on if I wanted to come back or not, and I told my coach that, and I guess he held a grudge against me. So the next year when I ended up coming back for my sophomore season, he definitely took it out on me personally, because I went from seeing about 10 minutes a game to basically garbage time. I would get in at the end of a game or in situations that didn't really matter, but every time I did, I would do my thing. I'd come in, hit a couple shots, maybe even make a couple highlight plays. And the crowd was loving it. All around campus, everybody knew who I was, and they would always tell me, hey, that coach cheating you. He need to put you on the floor more. And it's not like I came out there and just stunk up the whole thing. I would literally come out there and just do what I was supposed to do. I didn't get too flashy. I didn't get too big-headed. I just came in and made the right play every single time. Even afterwards, after a win or loss, when we would go in the handshake line, some of the coaches would even tell me I was a good player and that I deserved more minutes. That's when the idea of transferring came up in my head. But at the same time, I'm a loyal person. In Texas, I love being there. Whether it was hitting a buzzer beater, making a highlight play, or just chilling with the people in that environment, it really felt like home for me at first. That's why I committed. I didn't even want to leave. Not to mention, I was basically cool with almost everybody on the team. And I'm not saying this to brag or boast, but everybody on the team, they knew exactly how I get down. They knew I could hoop. Every time we would run ones outside of practice and games, I would be cooking everybody. Even when we did run ones in practice, I'd be cooking. So they already knew what I was about. At this point, it was just my relationship with the coach. I really thought I could get over that hump. I tried talking to him. I literally tried everything, but nothing worked. I had all the talent, all the capabilities. I always showed up on time. I was the perfect player, and I was coachable. But, hey man, politics is a crazy thing in this college game. It's something not a lot of people gotta go through. But one thing I would never do is give up. It's been plenty of times I questioned, do I even still want to play basketball? Even had dreams of making it to the NBA one day. I do sometimes wonder, what would have happened if I committed somewhere else coming out of high school? Or maybe if we had a different coach. But hey man, the what ifs are just what ifs. You gotta stay in reality. And what the reality was, as my time in Texas went on, it got worse. Now my second year, I was thinking maybe things would change, but when I was in, I would barely get the ball. I mentioned everybody on the team rocked with me, but in the game, we had a bunch of selfish players. And what I mean by that is, if you weren't in the starting lineup during practice or walkthroughs, and you was basically just an extra that got in the game late, bro, they would not rock with you at all. They would just keep getting their buckets. And it's different coming in off the bench. I would never be warmed up, and coach would expect me to just play amazing defense against somebody who's already been cooking the whole game. And at some points, I'm gonna be honest, it would look like I was getting exposed. But I mean, it's just a tough hand I was dealt. But one thing I always did was go out there and played hard. I'm telling y'all, almost every game, I would do something that'll make everybody turn their head. This one time against Indiana, I ended up getting this crazy and one bucket, and my whole team was hyping me up. And what's even crazier, it was actually a clutch bucket that put us within 5 points to come back in that game when everybody thought it was over. Ironic, huh? As soon as I got in the game, everything changed. But coach would never acknowledge anything I did or give me credit, which would cause me to get in my head way too much, and I would really overthink things. And sometimes I'd get like some pointless turnovers that just didn't look good. And it makes it worse when you look over at the bench and just see coach shaking his head. I'm telling y'all, man, basketball is really mental. You just gotta go out there and play. But for some reason, I could never just get out of my head and focus on the game. And every time I would make a mistake, it felt like a truck hitting you, man. Like I just blew my only opportunity to finally change something. I couldn't believe it. I would talk to my mom after every game, disappointed. And it didn't help when I would look over and see coach fussing with the rest of the coaching staff. It seemed like everything I did was a mistake. Or maybe he just wasn't a good coach. I don't know, man. I try not to reflect on it too much, but my time in Texas, it definitely was what it was. I enjoyed the people, and I enjoyed the experience, but after being done dirty so many times, I finally decided if I want to make it to the NBA, I might have to consider transferring. I'm not even blossoming here, and I figured I couldn't do this for 2 more years. So I ended up hitting the transfer portal, and to my luck, I ended up finding a new home. After talking to my family and careful consideration after entering my name in the transfer portal, I decided to take my talents to VCU. Now this experience was gonna be different. See, it was basically like a downgrade. It was like a mid-major D1 compared to Texas, but I mean, Sometimes you gotta take a step back to get to where you're trying to go. Now pretty soon, it was time for that home opener. And I've been working on my game the whole summer. And I definitely came back ready to change the narrative and really be the underdog. Now, as mentioned before, VCU, it wasn't like a top D1 school like a Duke, Texas, Kentucky, Oregon. Yeah, it wasn't those schools. It was basically mid-major, maybe even low major. But I didn't care what major it was. Business major, finance major, major pain. I really wasn't tripping. It wasn't nothing major. But the thing that's kind of dope about playing for a mid-major D1, sometimes you do go against those top schools a lot. So you basically always the underdog if it ain't a conference matchup. And I like that feeling. Anytime I'm considered the underdog or somebody always expects me to lose, that just make me play harder. It make me want to go out there and show the people what I'm made of. And I called this season the Revenge Tour. Because back in Texas, everybody had their thoughts about me, even the coach. Sadly, we didn't end up playing him this year, but I know he was watching from a distance, and he seen what he missed out on. Now in this program, they really let me just do my thing. We had a bunch of set plays, and I was either catching the ball in the post or coming off a down screen and letting that tray ball fly. My nickname was Glock 17 for a reason. I know some of y'all might be young, but you remember what Biggie said? If you don't know, now you know. And me, the VCU crowd, and my teammates was starting to become believers. To be real with y'all, my mindset throughout this whole season, I wasn't thinking nothing about the NBA. I wasn't even thinking about making it to March Madness or winning a conference. My goal was just to simply come out there and play hard, and God would work the rest out. And I was gonna live with the results. I mentioned earlier that being a mid-major D1 means you would play some top D1s at times and you will automatically be expected to lose. But the benefit from it, hey, sometimes you will have some eyes on you. Think about it. Everybody always wants to see the top teams play no matter who they're playing, especially if they have a good record. So if they end up playing a school like us and somebody like me end up giving them buckets, hey, that's just more exposure for me. And it looked like that's exactly what was going on, especially in this Arizona game. Because I was basically getting whatever I want, and we was winning. And this is at the time where they were ranked. Hey! But to be honest, we ain't care nothing about them ranks. When you come on our home court, and you the ops. You gotta get dealt with no matter what. And me, I just be doing my thing, catching lobs, shooting threes. I ain't have to be the primary ball handler or nothing. I just came out there for strictly buckets. And you know my last name Locke, so I played defense too. But I always made sure I was a good sport. One thing about me, I was always humble with everything I did. No matter who I was playing, no matter how I was doing, it didn't really matter. But like I said, in this game, us as a team, we was showing out. But this is a top ranked team, so they ended up coming back in the game. Hey, but we was fighting back. We wasn't finna give it up easy. And what was once a 10-point lead turned to a 2-point lead. So I had to do some work in the post and keep getting buckets. I forgot to mention that I kinda almost have a 40-inch vertical at 6'7". So hey, anytime I'm around the rim, it could definitely get wicked. But to make it long story short, this game wouldn't go our way. See, Arizona ended up going on a big run, and then they PG closed it out. As for me though, I felt like I had a solid performance. And this is how it basically went until mid-season. I just tried to keep coming out there and do work. Just kept the ball rolling. A few games later, we had a matchup against Georgetown. And let me tell y'all, this is a key game in my storyline. Now, I was going hard all season. It definitely wasn't a light year, but I started to get some buzz. Buzz like, yeah. After this game, I had NBA scouts looking at me. Now, it wasn't nothing crazy like a lottery pick, but I could definitely enter my name in the draft. It was a lot of things that helped me get to that point. For one, I had a decent shooting percentage the whole year. The 40-inch vertical also helped too. I had the size and athleticism to basically compete with those NBA players. But that didn't distract me from finishing out this season. I mean, I still wanted to go out there and play. I wasn't worried about no draft. I mean, like I told y'all, it ain't the lottery or nothing, so I still got some more work to do. But during this game, Georgetown literally had no answer for me. I mean, I was doing everything possible. Getting wide open, setting screens, hitting tray balls, getting to the lane, scoring from the mid-range, really all three levels, as I drive and get the and one bucket. I was also making things happen on the defensive end too, and our coach was loving it. But that and one, after I hit that mug, I had a feeling it was going to be one of those nights. And this turned out to be one of the best games of my college career. Arguably the best. I can't even say the draft attention even motivated me this game, because I didn't know until afterwards. I just approached this game like it was just another day at the office, and it ended up working out in my favor. Who would have thought? The moment that scouts are in attendance, I would have one of the games of my life, and they wouldn't even know about it. As I throw the crazy behind the back pass to my teammate, that's how y'all know this game I was acting up. And I will follow that up with a one-hand tomahawk for the biddies in the crowd. I'm telling y'all, man, anything I wanted this game, I got it. It's kind of like when your girl begging for stuff and you just trying to crack that night. She gonna get whatever she want. But don't worry, man. If your girl got your pockets hurting, blink twice if you need help. Go ahead, bro, I see you. But this game did end up being a close one. I was doing whatever I wanted, but Georgetown, they was hooping too. The point guard on their team had a crazy handle, I'm not even going fake. And he was making things happen the whole game. He was really controlling the pace of it. And no shade to our point guard, but I feel like if I was checking him, things might have been a little different. But hey, that's just me though. Don't tell him I said that. But on this play, got a back screen. Man, I had more lobs this season than I had strands of hair. That's crazy. It all started when I threw a lob to myself in practice. Ever since then, coach started implementing lob plays in our offense. And trust me, I was loving it. We was making VCU showtime. And this thing was basically a nail biter until the end of the game. We was just trying to extend the lead as much as we could. But they would have an answer for everything we was doing. The only thing that was wrong with their team is they didn't know how to play defense. Cause there's no way I should be this wide open for a three. I mean, y'all gotta get up on that. I ended up hitting 4 threes this game too. Man, they had me looking like Steph out there. Now in an NBA game, that might not seem like much, but 4 threes in a college game, that's pretty decent if you ask me. But it wasn't just the threes. I was getting to the cup and getting layups and dunks as well. I did a lot of resistance bands workouts that really helped with my quickness, which is why I can do this. Hey! Speed past the defense and get straight to the lane for a dunk like that. Man, the post control was there too. I told y'all I like playing in the post, but sometimes when they double me, I just kick it out to my teammate and he'll be wide open for a shot. Sometimes they made it, sometimes they didn't. But about 65 to 70% of the time, they end up knocking it down. And honestly, when the team was playing like that, we was hard to beat, which is why we had no problem cruising past this Georgetown team. And just like that, we had another dub in the books. As for my performance, I'm not going to say it was the performance of a lifetime, but it definitely felt like it. Played this way, and then found out I had a good chance of getting drafted. Man, I was hype. But we still had more games in the season, so I was still focused. And one of our last games of the season was up against Oregon. And let me tell you, this was another key game. Hey! And I started off this game absolutely crazy. Just like SpongeBob when he was at the beach with the guitar, off the rip, man, I jumped up and got a crazy lob. I wasn't even expecting that, to be honest. I really just made eye contact with my point guard, and he threw it up. I didn't even think I could catch that thing, but I guess I jumped higher than I thought. Now that's that Corey Cash type of bounce. Y'all be seeing the way that dude be dunking on people? I mean, he's 6'4" doing that. I'm 6'7", so I get a little bit of a pass being taller. Now this Oregon team was ranked in the top 10, so I definitely had to get in my bag. And let me tell you, that's exactly what I did. I was out there just trying stuff, and for some reason, it was falling. Sometimes it really be like that. You just get locked in, and if you just worry about playing, you'd be surprised about some of the stuff you can do. Just focus on winning the game and playing hard, and coming off a down screen and getting wide open. Boom! Come on, man, like some toast. Y'all know that was our bread and butter. But anyway, as the game went on, I kept shooting it. Boom! At that point, I was thinking to myself, man, the Ducks might be in trouble. But on the other end, they was making stuff happen too. Man, this dude hit a Euro step and then rose up for a poster over two of our players. Mind you, I was right there. I seen it up close and personal. I just walked away like ain't nothing happened. But like I said, I was shooting well this game. I'm telling y'all, that offense we ran, I would get open almost every time. Even if it was a better defender on me, they always be like a step or two behind, and it worked out in my favor. And you know I kept catching the lobs during the game as well. I was really acting up. I'm telling y'all, when I heard that NBA buzz, I started taking this thing serious. I ain't care if I was at VCU, TCU, what through the true blue goo that fell into my shoe, I was coming out there to hoop. Mind you, this was big for me. Even if I would end up going in the second round, I mean, I basically told y'all where I just started. Man, I was averaging like 2 points per game and barely playing. Now on this VCU team, I finally had the opportunity to showcase what I can do. Sometimes all you need is a change of scenery. Sometimes them people, they be holding you back. And I still got love for Texas. If it was up to me, I definitely would have stayed there. Well, technically it was up to me and I definitely didn't stay there, but yeah, you get the point. Moral of the story is, sometimes you just gotta weigh your options and do what's best for you. And the team thought what was best for us was for me to guard their best player. Now, I had some good defense, but this dude was tough. I am not gonna lie to you. It was a couple shots, I had a hand in his face. Hey man, there's nothing more I could do with that. Sometimes I would just look at coach like, hey bro, what you want me to do? I mean, they wasn't stopping me at the other end, so it wasn't like I was getting completely fried. But this dude was hitting some crazy shots. I'm telling you, like a centimeter away from me blocking the shot. And it turns out, that would be the difference in this game. Man, they was just out here hitting some crazy shots. We still fought back though. I was catching my lobs, doing my thing, but at the end of the day, when you facing a school that's ranked in the top 10 and they powerful, sometimes it ain't much you could do. As I drive to the lane and got a crazy acrobatic finish over two people. Hey, that might be one of the best buckets I ever got in my life, no cap. But man, we was gonna end up losing this thing, but to seal it off, I got another one. Hey! In this game, I had a decent performance, but now my season was over, and it was time for me to officially enter my name in the draft. Well, as expected, my name was not in the lottery. Matter of fact, I was expected to be a very late pick. But hey, I'm the underdog, man. I'm gonna see if I can still make some stuff happen. The only question that needs to be answered now is, will I end up being a role player in the league, or will I end up being a main character? But pretty soon, It's gonna be finally time to find out. Stay tuned.
Blue Buffaloes